board. All right. Okay. So we are streaming live on YouTube. So for the many, for the lot who don't have access to these Google Meet link, yes, you can easily join this training, this class via the YouTube video. So we have the YouTube link already posted on the WhatsApp platform. So you can join this training via that medium. You don't have access to this classroom link. All right, so I want to especially welcome everyone. Yes, my name is Chen Difansi, and I'm going to be your moderator for this wonderful training session. For the 2 days that we are going to be having to ourselves. Yes, I'm going to be your moderator, so you'll be saying this space. Yes, I want to believe that I have a couple of participants in this class who are at one point or the other being a part of our training. Yes, I want to believe so. All right, so if you have been a part of our training, then you can attest to the fact that yes, when it comes to delivery, we have quantitative needs at our disposal. Yes, in other words, yes, our training are well tailored and going to seem as if we are in a physical class. All right, so this training, occupational safety and health is what we do, CT Concept Training Company Limited. So CT Concept is a professional training firm when it comes to trainings that cut across engineering, management, finance. We are actually one of the best in that field. Yes. And see many who have participated in our training at one point or the other can actually attest to that fact. Yes, we have resource persons who are very good at their jobs and what they do in order for us to be, make sure that yes, the knowledge is well passed on to you. All right. So yes, we've been into the field of training for a couple of years, and we have a lot of professional practitioners who are making use of our certifications. The knowledge that we have gotten from our friends, from our platform, they are using it to do exploit well in their field of profession or their career. Yes, and you being a part of this training, yes, we know that yes, we are going to have that part of that testimony as well. All right, so welcome to class, everyone. So like I did mention, the course is occupational safety and health. We can't really overemphasize the importance of occupational safety and health in this time and era or across industry. Yes, and I want to believe that many people are on board this training with me, who are in this class with me, are you know, practitioners, professionals in the field, in industry who are practicing, and they already have the fair idea of what or what the importance of occupational safety and health is to every business or every that. Yes, we know that what occupational safety and health is actually tackling is the issues of accidents around the place of work. How does workers, how do staff members need to, discharge their duties or their responsibilities without the risk of maybe accident or putting their safety as a priority. So yes, this is what occupational safety and health is really teaching us about how to do the job without getting involved in any form of accident or limiting the risk that are attached to the job to a significant, very little, as little as possible. Yes, we can't really eliminate risk from the workplace, but how to make it so that this risk or this risk wouldn't turn towards accident or incident at that. All right. So all these are what we are going to be looking at in the course of this training. Yes, and we have a resource person who is very, very knowledgeable in that field. And years of experience in that field of practice when it comes to safety. Yes, he's one of the best in the field. Yes, if you have attended our training before, then you should know the person I'm talking about. Yes, he's always the one on board safety training, health safety and environment, occupational safety and health, and all our safety training. He has always been the one on board. Yes, and if you have attended the class, you would never want to miss any of the classes or training that was being out that he is always on board. All right. So introducing like I did mention, he's been in the field of engineering practices for a couple of years now. Yes, he's none other than Mr. James Fanning. He's going to be joining us shortly. In the short while from now, let me put it that way. We are going to be hearing his voice. So to introduce myself, my name is Ken Different. If you are just joining, yes, we are going to be saying this straight open. So this training is scheduled to hold for 2 days. That's today and tomorrow. Yes, when it comes to occupational safety and health, it's actually a very, very broad field. But yes, with the methodology of the legal, yes, we are going to do so well to treat it to that today so that everything you need to understand as it pertains to occupational safety and health, we'll be able to end this uh, two classes that we have put together for you. All right, so I will implore you to give us your undivided attention so that you'll be able to learn well and your share of our experience and knowledge with you in the course of our this training. Can you review your speech while you are speaking? So, all right, okay, thank you very much. Yes, I will see what I can do about that. And I have really not talking so far. Okay, so once again, I say welcome you all. So please, what you are going to do for me is please go to the comment section. I will love you to introduce yourself. Tell us where you are joining us from. Tell us what your expectation of this training is. Yes, your name. Tell us what your name is, what your expectation is, and where you are joining us from. So please, let's go to the comment section and do that within the next few minutes. All right, so please let's do that. So this training, like I did mention again, will last for it's going to take hold for 2 days. So at the end of the day two, there's going to be assessment. We are going to be testing you on all that has been or will be taught in the course of this training. So please let's have that at the back of our mind that there will be an assessment at the end of the training. So please, we don't need to give us your undivided attention. Now here is how the class works. When the trainer comes on board, you wouldn't be allowed to ask any questions unless you have been asked. So at the end of the training, they are going to be giving you the opportunity to ask your questions. So you want to do well to note your questions down. So by the end of the class, we'll call on you so you'll be able to ask whatever your question is. All right, so let's do that. Thank you very much, Emmanuel Thomas from Nigeria. Thank you very much for joining us. So please let's introduce ourselves. Tell us your name. Tell us where you are joining us from and what your expectation is. So we are streaming live on YouTube. So please, if you're having difficulty joining this Google Meet channel, please switch to the YouTube live channel. We already dropped a link on the WhatsApp platform. Perhaps as the class progress, we only drop it inside the comment section so you'll be able to share it out from there. All right. Okay, so I say welcome to you. So please permit me to switch device. So while the introduction is coming in, let me do that. So please introduce yourself. Tell us. I have about 140 people in class. So please let's introduce ourselves. I want to see your name, I want to see where you are doing this from, and what your expectation is. Thank you very much for long show questions from Nigeria. Okay, so please let's see the introduction coming in. Permit me to switch between device. All right, so please keep the introduction coming in. So, like I did introduce earlier, our resource person is no other person than Mr. James Paniyi. Yes, he has more than 15, 17 years of experience when it comes to the field of engineering, when it comes to the field of trading. So when I say he's an authority in this field, yes, I meant it. So please, let's give him our undivided attention. Yes, I can see some people who have been a part of our trainings. Yeah, even the class we finished some minutes from now who are joining us in this class. Yeah, so we had a class a few hours before now. All right, so thank you very much, Samuel Eshu. Thank you for joining us. He's an HS practitioner from Ghana. Yes, thank you very much for joining us. Yes, we love that you are here on board. Like I did mention, we are professionals in the field of occupational safety and health. Yes, experts. So yes, we appreciate it that yes, you are here on board. All right, so let's go to the business of the day, which is the training on occupational safety and health. Yes, so I will leave it to our resource person to do the honors of taking this all what we need to know about this course. All right, so Mr. James is here with us. So the next voice you'll be hearing with that of resource person, Mr. James Fanny. All right, so please and please, let's give him our undivided attention. If you have your questions, note them down at the end of the class. We are going to be taking it. So one other thing that I haven't addressed, yes, some people have asked the question that is there going to be a certificate for this training? Yes, there is going to be certificates for this training. So what we are going to do is, or what we are doing as a firm, is to be able to aid professionals in the field that want to progress in their career to be able to achieve these professional certifications at a discounted rate. So as part of our organizational goals, which is to be able to help practitioners ascend to another height in their career, hence we are bringing this training to you on the free platform. So please, I always tell people opportunity comes but once. So let's try as much as possible to tap into the opportunity that the firm is giving to you. So information related to the certification is going to be dropped on the platform, on the WhatsApp platform as we progress, perhaps in tomorrow's class or at the end of tomorrow's class. But most importantly is the knowledge that we want to pass out. Yes, safety, we can't really overemphasize the importance of it. And it is our goal and target to see that, yes, safety practices and culture is being inculcated in companies, in industries, to the highest priority as possible. So we need to enforce it. We need to cultivate that habit. Hence, training is one of the ways that, as an organization, we can do this or ensure that this is carried out. All right. So let's go straight to class. The next voice you'll be hearing with that of our resource person, yeah, Mr. James Fanny.
Okay, so I'm welcoming you to day one of occupational safety and health management. So thank you for joining us on this training. I appreciate you for registering for this training and for your eagerness to learn and prioritize your safety while you do your work. My name is James Fanny, as introduced, and today we'll be having a very nice time discussing and training on occupational safety and health. OSH. Okay, so if I may throw it open, okay, if you want to answer, please, you go to, you will use the in message to actually put in your answer. Have you ever been involved in work-related incident or accident before? Have you ever been involved in work related or incident before? I just need yes or no. Yes or no in the message. Have you ever been involved in the work related incident or accident before? So if you have not experienced it before, it might be like a fairy tale, but I can see yes. I've not seen any no. Okay, a no just comes up now. So I've seen 3 yeses and then 1 no. So please, there's no standing on the fence. If it's no, just hold it there. Okay. So the myth and the misconception of people about training like this is that some people just have an assumption that when we talk about incidents or we talk about work-related incidents, or they will say, "Oh, that's not for me." So to them is a thing of faith. To them is a thing of declaration or affirmation. They just believe that they cannot be involved in incident or accident. One thing I must tell you today is that most people that becomes the work-related accident or incident victim, most of them never expected that they will be involved in such. Nobody ever prayed to be a victim. And knowledge is key, knowledge is power. So things that you do not understand, you can actually fall victim of those things. So even things that you understand and you still handle with you do not handle with care, you might still fall victim, not to talk of things that you do not understand. That is why sensitizing people for you to become aware of things that you may be exposed to in your place of work is very important. Safety is of paramount importance. Safety is number one key thing that needs to be put in place in anywhere you work. Any day, anytime you go to your place of work, safety should be your number one concern. Yes, it is very important for you to get your job done. It is very important for you to be competent in what you do, to be the best in what you do. But if doing your work, you cannot guarantee or work with safety or safety consciousness, the safety of the fellow workers, the safety of the environment, the safety of the equipment and the properties where you work, definitely it does not worth it. It does not worth it going to work, doing your best and losing your hand in a machine. It does not worth it, okay? Having injury, you go to work complete, and while coming back, there is a part of your body already bleeding. It does not worth it. So if you can prevent it, if you can avert it, why not, if not? So I'm welcoming you. So you can see some pictorial look on my page right now. So I'll look at the emergency brief, that the safety moments. We can learn from incidents. If you have seen a fire incident before, you will understand how fire could quickly grow and engulf a place. So if we can prevent, an ignition, or if we can prevent a fire incident, so why not doing the right thing? Okay, there is somebody here that they are trying to bring back to life, performing, okay, trying to performing CPR on him in this particular place. So you can see this place. We have somebody about to step on a banana peel. Of course, that will lead to what? Fall. And when you fall, of course, if you have experienced it before, you have seen somebody who stepped on a slippery floor or a wet floor before, so you will understand that a lot of things could happen if you step on a slippery floor or banana peel, as the case may be. If you know that I'm audible and you can see my screen, please go to the in-message and give me that signal. I need to know. Just give me yes. I'll take one person, just one person, just one person. Give me a yes. If you can see and you can hear me clearly, just say I can hear, I can see in the in-message. Can you please do that? So that I will be rest assured that I'm actually live with you. Anybody? You are audible. Oh, I can see us. You are audible. I can see. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, let's move on. So you can see this person, okay, that just fell on wet floor. So you can imagine something as simple as this that we can prevent. In most cases, some things that you overlook, or things that look like they are just so simple, are the things that result to accidents. For example, as simple as you driving your car using the seat belt can actually avert, a serious injury in the case of what? Accidents. Or some people would prefer to drive without seat belts. And if you could use your seat belt, definitely you could actually avert a lot of danger. So simple things, simple details, okay? Simple instructions, simple observations, simple administrative control, simple administrative policies could actually put things right, or could avert a greater, challenges or injury or consequence if you could actually obey it. This man here was actually standing, blocking the exits. Okay, that could also lead to accident in the case of emergency. So we have seen it. We have seen this kind of scene before. Okay, where there is a fire incident and then they have to call the fire company to rush down so that they can actually quench the fire. You see, you will know that what it is not a good sign at all. You know, a lot of people will panic. People will be thinking about their properties. You know, some people in rushing in to go and save a particular property that is so important to them, they will get trapped in, fire will engulf the place, and eventually the person trying to save the property will have to die and perish with his property. So it's not a good sign at all. So to prevent it is far better than you trying to put things in place when it has happened. So prevention is better than cure. So if you can prevent, you know, workplace incidents, it is very important that you pay attention to those details and prevent it rather than waiting or making mistakes or doing what you're supposed not to do and then facing the consequences. So what is the objective of this training? So it is expected that after this program, as participants, you should be able to establish safe working practices. That is our goal. The place where you work, as an employee, you should know what is not really safe as part of your practices there. The things that you do at your place of work, either you are being subjected to it or you subject yourself to it. So you should be able to determine that, oh, this thing is safe or this particular thing is not safe. Ability for you to recognize hazards when you see one is very, very important, and it can save you a lot of trouble. Ability for you to foresee what will go wrong before it goes wrong is a very great ability that OSH knowledge will give you. So you should be able to establish safe working practices, safe behaviors. Aside the practices, the behavioral attitude of every employee, your co-workers, you should be able to determine what other people are doing that could actually put you in trouble. Okay? This training will guide you and it will help you, it will assist you at your place of work for you to work safely. For you to work safely from the exposure of hazards, risk that you may encounter at your place of work. So after this program, you should be able to identify and evaluate the workplace health and safety risk and be able to put in the mitigation measures. So there are some risks at your place of work that, of course, when we get there, you will see there are some risks that you cannot eradicate. You cannot remove them. Okay, you live with them. Just as most of us also live with a risk, you know, where we stay or where we live. There are some risks. In fact, everything around you, you know, is an hazard. Everything that we live with is actually an hazard. They all have potential to cause harm when they are activated. So it's only that the only thing is that some hazards are actually dormant. They have not been activated. That's why you don't know that what they are dangerous. For example, years back when I was serving, I met a lady, very beautiful lady. So she has a mark on her face. So it's very, you know, very horrible scar. In fact, the way it looks like, you know, if you look at it closely, you will think that it's a thick fiber mark. But definitely, if you look at it closely, you see that it is actually a scar. It's like somebody having a face like this. Okay. Let me sketch something. Okay. Somebody having a face like this, and then there's a mark like this on her face, going through, you know, crossing through her nose bridge and you know, her cheek like that. So I was talking. I saw her the first day. We just greeted. You know, she's so beautiful, even with this. But the scar was actually a dent on her face. So I was so keen to ask her. So on a good day that I was able to get close, I asked her that, oh, can you please tell me what really happened to your face? Is that intentional? because I've heard of people who normally put, some mark like that intentionally on the face of their children, maybe when they were sick and all that. I've heard of those kind of stories before. So she told me that it was not an intentional mark, and that it's actually, as a result of an incident where she was living. So what happened? She said that the ceiling fan that they use in their sitting room was working at a very high speed, the highest speed, and all of a sudden it got detached. And that's how the fan got detached. That the next thing that she remembered was waking up in the hospital. That a lot of people carried, worse injury than her own. That she was just so lucky that her own injury was no more than this. So I began to recall, okay, if I go to some visit some houses like that, you will see their fan, working at a very high speed, and it will be as if the base of the fan was actually moving with the fan. So after this story that I heard from her, of course I've had story of ceiling fan getting detached before, but after that story she told me, I became so allergic to using ceiling fan. In fact, if you come to my house now, you can't see ceiling fan there. And later on, I discovered that the installation of this fan, most of the electricians that you could better refer to as carpenters, that do not know anything about electricity, are the one installing all these fans. So you're supposed to connect the support of the ceiling fan, if this is the ceiling fan, the support of this ceiling fan is supposed to hang on the major roof. But most of them, they will not construct like that. They will just help you with a very small knot, connected to the tie rod on your ceiling, and that's where they will attach the fan. And they will show you with their weight that, the fan can support my weight, definitely you can use it. Very dangerous. She could have died from that little thing that she just narrated. But when she was talking to me, I could see that she was very grateful, because she told me that her injury was even, minimal compared to what other people that were in the sitting room with her. It's a simple mistake. Just correct installation would have actually abated this. And in most industries, across every workplace, even where you work right now, there are some things that are actually being installed, some systems that are being put in place that if you could do it in the right way, most of the incidents that normally result from them will actually be averted. So us is about doing the right thing, following correct policy, engaging the employees in a way that prioritize their life, in a way that prioritize their healthy living, in a way that prioritize their safety and health above every other thing. Even myself, training, and speaking on this particular word, training, I can tell you, a number of escapes that I've actually recorded when it comes to incidents due to lack of priority for health and safety of employees at places of work. I've worked in manufacturing industry. I've worked in a telecommunication industry, where most of these industries prioritize their job. They prioritize you getting the job done than your own safety. Okay, I've worked with. I'm not here to sabotage, but I've worked with Lebanese. Let me use that word. So let me mention. I've worked with Lebanese. Who would want you to do everything just to get the job done. Even when you say that, this particular knot is to be, I'm supposed to use a 10 spanner on it. They'll tell you that you just work now, just do it. And then you see some people, they replace spanner with plier, and over time, the knot will be wearing out, it will be wearing out, wears and tears on it, it will be wearing out. Until a particular day where you cannot work, hitting that thing again. You can't go that in. So you just have to tighten it, let's say like 70%. And the designer of the machine did not design it to hide just 70%. The nut could remove while the machine is on motion. If you don't properly tighten the nuts. A lot of things, a lot of practices like this are going on in our place of work. But why do you have to go through this kind of training and practice? Because when it happens, you will be at the receiving end. You will be the victim. And there is no company that will accept as witness. I can tell you for free that there is hardly any company that will come out and declare that they are at fault and they are responsible for any employee's deaths. What you always hear is that it was an act of negligence, that the employee was not careful enough, and the death would not be there to come and defend himself or herself. So you need to prioritize your safety. It is very, very important. So we have a whole lot to learn, understanding the application, care, and inspection of personal protective equipment. There are also a lot of assumptions by companies that people will just employ them and then will give them PPE. Of course, you are not blind. When I give you a helmet, you should know that it should be worn on your head. When I give you safety boots, you should put it on your leg. But the right practice is that people need to be trained on how to use their PPE correctly and how to use the correct PPE on the correct job. Many people don't know this. We shouldn't give people an oversized safety boots and say that they should manage it like that. They are not babies that we assume that they will grow up, their feet will grow bigger and occupy the space. Your head shouldn't go inside and be touching the scarf of your helmet. And while we are hoping that your head grow bigger so that it will fit in. You shouldn't put on a cover that will look like you attire, agbada or babadika. That when you are walking past the machine could actually entangle with you and you become deformed. So a lot of things like this have been overlooked, and there are a lot of people who do not care. In retaliation to the company, they say, is that not what they gave me? And that is what I'm using. But when the unexpected happens, who will actually be at the receiving end? And you. And that's why you have to care about yourself. So you have to know and appreciate the relevance of emergency response planning, basic first aid, and CPR in the work environment. You see, when it comes to first aid, I might tell some companies when we go and train them, so when you see all of them in attendance, sometimes they will tell you that it's senior management that will attend this training. I will tell you then, why do you want only the senior management to benefit from first aid training? They say, yes, they are the one we can afford, but it won't be effective. Yes, I want to make my money, the company just want to take the training and make our money. But if you care that we should educate you, we will educate you. First aid training must go around to the extent that even if you have a trainer in your place of work, they need to actually be in that training. What happens if there is an incident and the only person that is available with the victim is the trainer? Will the trainer know what to do? What happens if the fire is just growing, there's just an ignition or a spark that could actually result in a big fire incident, and the cleaner is the only person to spot it, but the cleaner could not use fire extinguisher. So you will see that it's not going to be effective. When it comes to safety, everybody needs to be sensitized. When it comes to fire drilling, evacuation drilling, everybody needs to undergo evacuation drilling, because you wouldn't say there is a fire incident and then the cleaner is inside, she will nobody, she could die. While every other person who have learned the skill of how they could evacuate the place, they are the one running out. Everybody deserves to be safe. Everybody deserves to know what is safe and unsafe in a particular place of work. So, aside the safety manager or the safety personnel, the supervisor going up and down, that if the company is standard, there is always a safety officer that must be going up and down to check if people are complying with the safety rules and regulations, if they are working safe. Aside this person, even you as a mechanical engineer, electrical engineer, even if you are the one in charge of tech. In fact, what you must know is that what safety cuts across every field of practice. If you go to bank right now, there are some banks now that they are not they are actually what creating an interface between the screen and what the direct side of their of their workers. Why? Because a lot of bankers, when you look at them, it is not for fashion. Most of them are using glasses. Why are they using glasses? You cannot be staring at what laptop or be staring at system for 5 good years and you will not have problem with your sight. It is not possible. In fact, if it happens, it's a very, very bigger grace. But something that you could actually avoid. If they had actually provided a protective cover on the screen so that it will not be radiating directly into the sight of the worker, the workers could have done better. There wouldn't be ergonomic hazards over time on their sites. Not quite long that most banks, started implementing this. What about those who have been bankers in the 80s, in the 90s? You know what happened to their site? A lot of them are just changing glasses from glass to another glass. And in fact, most of them have retired or they have been fired from the bank, and they still have the effect of the economic hazards, that they sustain while in service. There are a lot of people that you will see the way they are actually hunched, as if they have hunched back. It is due to the nature of their work. I wouldn't mention the name. While I was working in Kobe State in a manufacturing company, so anytime we follow the staff boss, there are some set of people that work in mines. So when we talk about mines, we are talking about where they do a lot of blasting. There will be explosives that are, they will put it in the ground and then they will blast. So whenever you sit in the staff boss and they are calling a particular person, maybe we normally make just of them. They just want to show you that these people have a common problem. When you mention their name, you call them. You can call that person 20 times and you will not know that you are not calling. You are calling him. Why? Because the eardrum has damaged over time. Mr. King, Mr. King, Mr. King, you will shout, 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 shout. We will not hear you. People will now be shouting. You say, you don't know that he's working in mines until you move closer and put your mouth into his eardrum directly and shout, Mr. King. That's when he will not shake, to respond to you that you are calling him. So you can imagine. And they sustain this while working. And there are, things to be put in place that could have averted this. But lack of knowledge, lack of compliance actually result to this. I've heard of people before that while they are out of service, you just see them, they can sit down and their hands will just be shaking. They are not stroke patients. Their hands will just be shaking because they have dealt with vibrating equipment all their life. Most of those people that normally drill, those people that normally drill, they use drilling machine. In fact, I've seen somebody in a road construction before. He was even using his weight because he wanted to drill the machine. The vibration would be much to the extent that you need energy for it to retain the drilling mouth at the spot that you want to drill. So he will use his weight to actually pull it down. And because of the vibration, their heart vibrate and everything, so even the escape from the internal damage, you will see them in the old age, the hands will be shaking. Those people that are exposed to too much of noise in their place of work, they could even go home. When they get home, they will still be hearing the sound. Their eardrums. I don't know if you have explained that before. If you go into a party where there is a loud music, even when you have left the party, you could be hearing the vibration of that sound in your ear. That is the danger. This training is targeted at making you safety champion. And that will become that after this training. So let's talk about safety. When you hear of safety, what is your attitude towards it? Number one, safety should be your primary goal. freedom from danger, injury, or death is what defines your safety when you work. At your place of work, the conditions, the environment, the tools that you interact with. Are you sure that you are free from danger, injury, or even death? Okay? So the aim and the objective of this training is to ensure that you prioritize what? Safety. And of course, I do hope that that is your priority for registering for this training and for joining this class. Okay, so let's begin with working and managing safely. Okay, we have a whole lot, but we have to actually do the foundation so that our second day of this class will be a smooth run. So when we have a grounded foundation, a deep foundation, a well-laid foundation, every other thing we want to build on it will be very, very easy. So workplace accident statistics, according to International Labour Organization, okay, it is actually given as a record that globally 2.2 million people die annually from work-related accidents and diseases, and work-related deaths appear to be on the rise. So you can imagine, the one that you have seen is what you have seen. But what you have not seen, you will never take record of it. But the International Labour Organization have it as a record that 2.2 million people die annually, that's yearly, from work-related accidents and diseases. Now, when we talk about accident, don't let we're actually talking about incidents. Anything whatsoever that is as a result of you working in that particular place. And don't think that when we are talking about an incident, we are just talking about physical impact. Not only physical impact. A lot of people die from stress that they accumulated from their place of work. Due to the nature of work that they do. It is part of hazard. Hazard could be psychological. Hazard could be physical. We have chemical related hazard. We have biological related hazard. Those ones that, from biological agents, the fungi, the virus, the bacteria. But the most dangerous one that many people struggle with, especially, in the African continent, is the psychological hazard, because the nature of the job might be that you are overusing yourself. Some people, when they are done at the place of work, they still have a spillover that they bring home to come and complain. So the psychological stress resulting from the work can also endanger you. And then it might not be an instant death. It might be something that you sustain over the period of time, and then resulting to death or a major disease, maybe high blood pressure and all that, due to the nature of work that you actually do. How do you prioritize this to ensure that, okay, fine, my safety first and every other thing follows? And that is what we are discussing. So April 28th is actually the World Day for Health and Safety at Work. We hardly hear it being the year of Mother's Day. You see a lot of people celebrating Mother's Day. Maybe Valentine's, you see people celebrating it. But have you ever had it been so loud, especially in this part of the world, the African continent? And you say, April 28th, the World Day for Health and Safety. But yes, that day reminds us, celebrating such a day will remind you that your safety is paramount. Your safety first. It is very important. So let's briefly analyze what health is, what safety is, and what environment is. These are three key things that we need to prioritize in laying the foundation for this class. Your health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. So a lot of people, when you talk about health, you don't say that, I don't have body pain, there is no sign of malaria, my hands are not paining me, and then I'm healthy. That is a bitter lie. Just like I explained earlier. When you are talking about health, we have to what? Talk about your physical well-being. Are you physically okay? Are you physically fit? Now, after we can see that, oh, you can lift your hand, you are physically fit. Are you mentally all right? Okay? There was a time a company was having issues with, it's a sachet water company, pure water company, and then their clients were actually complaining of too much of leakages in the water that they supply. So the company did a lot of background check. They checked the quality of their nylon. They saw that the quality of our nylon is okay. Of course, we are not using inferior nylon to actually package our water. So okay, what is now the problem? They couldn't get the problem, so they have to consult. Okay, fine. A set of auditors, that external auditors should actually help them to find out what is actually wrong. I have somebody on that panel who was now telling me, was narrating to me what they discovered. Okay, that could you imagine that when they went to actually do work ethics audits? So it's the person narrating this to me was a work ethics expert. Okay, my field also. So it was this thing with me, and I was telling me what really happened. So when we got there, they saw that the people, operating the machine, the people packaging the water, the people even bringing the certain water from the machine and putting it on the table, they hardly rest. These people are working 24/7. In fact, the nature of their rest is that if you want to rest, the work is waiting for you. So if you want to go and rest, the worker that you will pack, they are just waiting for you. So if I imagine somebody working and stand and being on his feet for 8-9 hours, can you imagine the stress? So they saw them while they were coming, they observed that. And when they observed it, they checked everything, they saw that, these things that is happening is not due to unsafe condition. We are going to talk about that. There are what we call unsafe condition and unsafe acts. That the result of these leakages must be as a result of they narrow it down to a safe act. But they themselves, they couldn't really say, okay, fine, this is it. But they just observe that the staff are really stressed. So they asked them, what is the shift that you're on here? They said that they have their own shift, that they close by 4 p.m. The production will close by 4 p.m. and the workers are expected to have resumed 8 a.m. So you can imagine you will resume 8 a.m. until about till around 4 p.m. You are still working, carrying this, carrying that. If you really want to stand up, it's not like they are stopping the machine for you. The machine will continue to work. That means that you have to pack or 10 and you just rest for 5 minutes. The time you're supposed to pack might have become 15, so you still be the one to do the work. You don't have break. So they told them that the only thing we can recommend is that we recommend, that you introduce little break for your staff. Let them be resting. We only know what could actually be happening, but there was no evidence. Okay, so introduce some level of rest for them. Let them be having this your machine. At least intentionally you can stop it for 30 minutes. Let this move go and rest. You don't want to be running shifts. Some of them are bringing food, let them take their food and be rest assured, because most of them that are taking that rest, they are not really resting because the work is ongoing. But if they know that when you stop the machine for them, you know that 30 minutes is not like the work is waiting for them. So they recommended that, and they recommended that if you could actually back the water, and maybe because this leakages is actually giving us bad name, and the leakages is making us to lose money. So if the company could have like a month of no leakages and all that they want to start compensating the staff. We should tell them, no, we are not saying the staff are responsible, but we'll start compensating you. Guess what? That month there was no leakages. Intentionally, the staff are the one puncturing the water due to anger. due to stress. It's just they couldn't puncture their supervisors, but they could puncture the water. And because the company is the one at loss, their own money will complete. In as much you don't catch me doing it, and you don't want to give me rest, you will not also rest. And why they are doing it was not because they are really wicked. It was because when you put so much water on the table for them to pack, they will not see that the workload is too much. So what they do to reduce what they will pack is for them to puncture like 10. They just signal to themselves, how many have you punctured? I puncture 10. How many have you punctured? I puncture what? 5. So when you puncture 15 or you puncture 20, of course you have saved yourself from bagging what? Like 20. And when they do this, introducing rest, and then these people are now having some kind of incentives from bagging the water without what leakages. Every problem actually stopped. So you see, the staff will not work every mentally. Mentally, they are stressed. And this could actually will lead to what? A whole lot of things. Now, if you see some company, they have a discipline, they say no smoking inside the factory, no drink inside the factory. What you're trying to actually work on is your mental health. What about the social well-being? The social well-being. There are some places of work that, you know, the nature of work puts all the staff in isolation. It does not actually work, kind of promote the teamwork. You know, the nature of the work does not promote teamwork. It only promotes what? You shifting the blame. I've worked in an organization like that before. When I was working in telecommunication industry, I had a very horrible experience. In fact, that's when I knew that, you know, the work would just be based on shifting blame from one person to another. Until you shift the blame on somebody who cannot defend himself, then you will be the one to carry the cross. When you have a work culture, okay, the culture and the nature of work, when you do not actually promote what? Teamwork, team building, and all that everybody needs to do is what? Thank God I'm not the one at fault. Okay, you are the one at fault. Thank God it's not my problem, it is your problem. There can't be productivity. And that's because people are not healthy socially. They cannot relate. I can't meet this person if I'm having a problem with the work to say, okay, please, can you help me with this? I'm having difficulties. And then you say, okay, fine. Let me just give you a hand. Let's see. Let the work be done. Let the priority be that what the work should be done and should be done safely. Okay? So, health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. What about safety? Freedom from man-equipment methods and environmental interactions that result in accidents. That is safety. When you are making use of your equipment in such a way that the way you interact with it cannot result to accident or incident, that is where we can say that you are safe. When you're working with an equipment that keep giving you electrical shock, okay, electrical sensation, and they keep telling you that you should be using it like that, okay. A friend of mine had an experience, horrible experience. You know, they actually the maintenance department. For many people that have worked in manufacturing industry, you know that we have what we call people that run the plants. Okay, so those are the people that actually run the plants. They are in charge of running the plants. They are in charge of operation. Okay, and some people are in charge of maintenance. So my friend was actually working in the maintenance department. So these are the people that will carry out the routine maintenance on the machine. Okay, if the machine is actually built for maintenance, they will shut it down and then they will carry out the maintenance. But before they carry out any maintenance, because they were about to maintain a 660 volts electric motor. So he was actually working with an Indian man. He was his boss. So they're supposed to take line clearance on that particular electric motor. So what is line clearance? Line clearance is where you go to perhaps electrical department, because that's the right department to go, and then you tell them there's a form you will fill that this particular equipment, say we want to actually run maintenance on it. So practically they will give you, access, and they give you permits, follow you, shut down the machine, remove the breaker that is supplying it electricity so that it will not be powered for the period of time that you will work on it while carrying out your maintenance. So that is what line clearance is. And in the plant where both of us were working, it was an automated plant. What it means is that what they don't have to go to meet the machine before they can start the machine. There is a control room where they can actually use the system to click start and the machine will start. But the only good news is that every time they want to start the machine, there will be an alarm so that everybody around that place can evacuate that place, and the alarm may not take that long, the machine will start. So he told, what happened was that the Indian man has missed the scheduled time for the maintenance of that machine, and he was trying to actually cover up. So the machine developed, that particular unit was just shut down for a particular thing. Okay, and he wanted to quickly use that opportunity so that they will put the oil, they will check this, refighting and everything. So he carried my friend. He himself was not touching it because he knew that it's a dirty job. And he put him there. I was asking him to leave the electric motor. That was his thing. What is the light glass? He said, no, you know, open the machine. And he was working on the machine. So you remember that there is always emergency switch. Because that's another switch. There's an emergency switch at the place where they install the machine. So if you can actually activate the emergency switch, even if they are trying to start that machine at the control room, it will not start. So he told him that let us activate the emergency switch. The Indian man still told him, no, don't let us do that, now you work on it. Okay? This was not to actually talk down on the Indians, but you know, people could be the personality of that supervisor and not about his nationality. So he was forcing him to work on the electric motor, no clearance, no switch button being activated, emergency switch being activated. And my friend was working on it. Luckily for him, as he was just about to cover the terminal, he was done. Thank God it was not when he was holding spanner on that terminal. If it had been when he was holding spanner, of course, many people that are literate about electricity would know what I'm talking about. Can imagine 660 volts. The one we use in our house, okay, is actually expected to be 240 volts, but it's not usually complete. Sometimes when you measure it, you can see 220, 215. Even there are some places where you see 190, something below 200. Single phase. Your gadget will still be working fine in the house. So not to talk of 415 that is what three phase. But this one is now 660 volts that the electric motor is using. So if that kind of electricity should come in contact with you, just say goodbye. As it was just covering the terminal of the electric motor, that was when he had the alarm and the electric motor just was picked. He said it was almost, boxing that Indian man. At that time, he didn't want to remember if it's actually his supervisor or if they are going to sack him or anything whatsoever. Because that's gambling. His life was put like a bet on covering something he could have done right. And that is why your safety is paramount. The interaction with the machines, you have know that this thing is wrong. And you have to do the right thing. There was something I learned from my boss when I was working in a manufacturing company in Kogi State. Okay? It's a cement plant. Many of us may know it, but I'm not mentioning the name. It's a cement manufacturing company in Kogi State. So, he noticed that the tools that we were using, those tools are not complete again. And this may not be the fault of the employer. A lot of employees, they are negligent. So when you work today, they will not tidy up, good housekeeping. They don't practice good housekeeping. So 10 spanner may be lost today, 8 spanner may be lost tomorrow, and that is when you want to work. You just open the toolbox, you will be saying that one, you don't see the right tool to use. So what did this boss of mine, what did he actually do? He has his own personal toolbox that he bought. In fact, his own was, he normally carries toolbox was like baby. So anytime he's coming to work, the toolbox is always with him. So when we want to go and work, We use his personal toolbox. But what must we do? We supervise. Even if we finish the job so tired, we are not done until we clean the tools and set them properly. So that the same thing that happened to the company's tools will not happen to his own. He bought his own tools. Why? Because he prioritized his own safety. This is an act that could be recorded. I was encouraged to do the same thing when I saw him doing it. He said, look, even if you affect your safety, why don't you invest in it? If your safety is paramount to you, of course, the company will not bear the loss. The company can only bear the loss based on the fact that maybe your role is missing for some hours before they replace you. But trust me, you will hardly see any company that will come out bold to say that, oh, we are responsible for his death. It's almost impossible. Except that there is a camera that actually covered what happened, that could actually know the company that they were at fault. They will deny it. If that my friend had gone, what the Indian man would have said is that he was negligent. And you didn't send him to actually do that. And that would be the end of the story. Safety is an acceptable level of risk, a risk that is reduced to a lack as low as reasonably practicable. You know, I explained that there are some risks that you will not be able to eliminate. But you should be able to reduce such a risk to as low as reasonably practicable, in such a way that the risk effect will not be too much, too killing, too dangerous, such that we can actually run with. When an equipment becomes so dangerous that you know that anything happens on this equipment, the person will die. That is not the kind of equipment for you to install in the company. But an equipment where we know that somebody can sustain a little cost, and we have put all the necessary control in place, we see that no matter what we do, there is every possibility that somebody can sustain a little cost while using this machine. You can see that let them start using hand glove. You can give them PPE. That means that we have reduced the risk to as low as reasonably practicable. That's safety. So we can say that you are safe to interact with this machine. Environment, surroundings in which an organization operates, including air, water, land, natural resources, the humans and their interaction. That is the environment. If the environment is not safe, then you are not safe. I've worked in cement plants before, like I said, most times when you get home, despite the fact that you put on your cover, I don't know if I'm lucky to have somebody who has worked in in a company like that before. You will testify to it. When you get home, no matter how tight, how perfect your cover may be, when you get home, when you remove your cover, you will see cement, the fine particles of cement already settle on your skin. And many people would know that our skin is actually porous. There are holes, through our skin. So when you sweat, those cement particles will be absorbed into your skin, and they are very, very dangerous. When you breathe, the kind of nose mask that we use is the one that provides highest level of protection for you to actually breathe in clean air. But despite that, you must know that something, a strange substance is actually flowing through your air into your nose. Now, when you get home, when you try to spit, when you try to bring phlegm from your throat, coughing, trying to cough it out, you will see that in your spit, in your saliva, something has mixed with it. That is cement. So it is a plant that you must target that this is the number of years. There are some jobs like that. You have to target that this is the number of years you have to spend there, and then you make your exit. And while you're working there, you must prioritize your safety. You must research things that you can put in place to mitigate the effect. It is very important. If you know that you have been with me, I think we have spent 1 hour in the class. If you know that what you have been with me up till now, please signify. Go to the in message to type I'm with you. I'm with you. In message, just type I'm with you. Let me see that what you are with me. Thank you so much, Kenneth. I'm with you. Okay, so I have a good number of people with me in class. Okay, I didn't call Michael. Thank you. Okay, all right. Osai, I'm with you. Pastor Ezekiel. Okay, God with us. Kenneth, Prosper, Yakobo, Adeni, Daniel, Michael King. Okay, thank you for being with us. Thank you for staying with me. All right, so we are moving and we are digging the foundation, and it's very, very beautiful that we are doing this today. So look at our environment. So when we talk about what environment has to be safe. When you see the way, it has been designed and the nature has presented it to us. Okay, you will see that what everything actually what circulates. You breathe in oxygen, you breathe out carbon dioxide. That carbon dioxide is being what taken in by plants, and the plants give out what the oxygen. So you can see it's give and take, and it has to be what to be clean for you to know that what the environment is safe. After all these that we have actually what talked about, it is still necessary, because one of the things that we normally face as a training firm is convincing organizations for them to organize what safety training. Look at what we are doing. This training that we are doing is a training that should be what made compulsory by all organizations, to sensitize their staff. You need to let them know. Okay? That is what we call induction. During the induction into company, when you are employed in a company, no matter your years of experience, you have to go through that induction program. I've worked in a plant before where I did 3-month induction. My 3-month probation was actually what on induction training. What are the things you'll be going through in the induction training? You have to understand what they do, the dangers in what they do, the kind of answers you are open to, the mitigation plan, every unit that is there, the right quarters for you to go to make complaint, and all that. And when you look at today, it is employ and start working. You can be employed on the Monday and they will put it towards, okay, begin come and resume work on Monday, and then you are already, carrying safety boots entry where you're supposed not to enter, with the assumption that you have started work. After all, you'll be paid salary, so you have to do the work. A lot of people don't really know, the importance of this. Some companies don't know, they don't prioritize it. But we need to know that one very important thing that you need to first know about the importance of, occupational health and safety, or what we call health, safety, and environment, is the economic benefit. It is economical to prevent incidents than to undo it when it eventually happens. Okay, the prevention is better than care. You can see it like that. Okay, what it will take us to sensitize somebody that, look, there's a part of this machine that can cut your hand, that can have an impact on your head. What if it costs us to train the person so that we work and be very careful while operating that machine is so cheaper than what it will cost us to take the person to hospital after his hand has been chopped off by the machine. So there is an economical benefit. But you see, so companies will look at, are we going to spend this kind of amount on each staff, training them on this particular training and everything? But what you don't know is that when it eventually happens, because unfortunately many people unfortunately stay in their country where the law is not really affirmed or embraced or defended, to the core. There are some countries that if any employee should actually be involved or become the victim of work-related incident, and the person is being praised that it is actually the job that subject that person to that kind of incident. Definitely the company will not have it easy with the government. The laws are in place and they are very enforced. What you will pay as a company, if you know what you will pay to treat that person, if the person is out of job for 6 months, his salary will still be entering. If the company, should know this, definitely they will do all they can to train that person and put everything in place, because there is economical benefits in safety, health, and environment of every employees, and giving them that orientation. So there's economic benefits, and even for you personally. Now let's come down to your individual. If you are quite unfortunate that you find yourself in the environment where your safety is not being prioritized, and you know that the law may not be enforced, the law may not fight for you for it. Definitely you should know that for you to prevent all these things from happening is far economical for you to treat yourself when it eventually happens. I've learned of people that work in cement plants before that they were having effect like they have appendix. It was like appendix. When they got to hospital and they did the scanning, they found that there's a substance that cake, inside them. And when it was operated, it was found and discovered to be a cake cement inside them. Like when I explained to you that we normally see cement particles on our skin when we get home. I used just 2 years. Good pay. I have to resign. I have to leave the place. Health, prioritization, and so many other things made me to just look at it and then have to leave. Because when you look at people who have even become the boss, who are actually at the top of the career, that you are staying years apart in that particular environment, and you project yourself being in their level, being at their age, when you get to their age, assuming yourself that you are still working in that particular plant, you may not be able to predict what could have happened to you. Okay? What is the essence of money that you make, and then you are spending it on a particular illness and yeah, of course, that actually happened. They told me that the company was at fault. There are a lot of people that do not prioritize their health, because I can tell you for free that the company recognized that there are hazards. So there are what we call hazard benefits. It's part of the salary analysis. Part of their salary analysis, there are hazard benefits that they put there. That money is for you to actually treat yourself, do normal checkup. Sometimes they will come to plant, they will give us sensitization about things, the kind of product that you can be taking, that even if you have some of these particles settle inside you, they could mitigate it. But guess what? The Africans, as we are, to a large extent, a lot of people will say, oh, nothing will happen. I'm okay, I'm healthy. Once I get home and I take hot pepper soup, I'm okay. So they will not follow the right way. And that is why when all of these things actually happen to them, when they have the side effect of all these things, many of them are even afraid to tell the company. Because it actually shows that they have not. In fact, there was a time before I got to the company, we learned that they used to give them milk, like all this thin milk. The company normally give all the employees every month. But guess what? As they are giving them the milk, people that will buy it from them are already waiting at the gate. People will just collect it, and as they are collecting it, they will sell it at the gate. They will transact it and collect money. And that's why the company now stopped that. Why are we wasting our effort to be circulating milk? Let us monetize this hazard benefits. So they monetize it. That if you want to treat yourself, treat yourself. And otherwise, but you have yourself to blame. It's part of prioritizing. So when you now eventually what sustain injury or you sustain, you know, these are a lot of things from violating the right thing to do, then you will know that what there is economic or easy benefit in HSE. Legal reason, like I explained, legal reason in every organized country, okay, there are rules, you know, guiding safety across industries. Yes, there are rules, except that what it is not being upheld or it is not being what the justice is not being what muted out. But there are rules. Every normal government has put what rules in place. That oh, if something like this happens, these are what we call it compensation that the staff must actually what they paid if it actually what happened. So there are legal reasons. Okay, you can be sued. I heard of a case. In fact, this one was very close to me. It happened to the other brother to my minister, and he was working in a company that deals with work at height. So they use hoist to lift them to a particular level, and the hoist was not properly maintained. So it caught, and then they had the experience of free fall. Anybody that understands what I'm saying? Just like somebody that experienced free fall in a lift. So you know what will happen? Before the person gets down, many of them, major injury that many of them might have is their spinal cord being damaged. So this man escaped. There were two in the house. The other person, young man, they said he was even about to get married. His spinal cord was destroyed beyond repair. In fact, he became a vegetable to the extent that when they got to hospital, he was negotiating with the doctor that attended to him that they should inject him, that there's nothing he's waiting for again. He was alive, but he had become vegetable. The other man that happened to be the other brother to my minister, what happened to him? All his teeth, he was just like a baby that had no teeth. All his teeth were removed, his jaw was shifted, he had a broken leg, but his spinal cord was safe. It was so horrible. But that's not where I'm going. So the company wanted to deny that they were responsible. They didn't want to take up their medical bills. And that's where the case actually was started. So after investigation, they saw that the hoist that they used and every fault was actually with the company. So the company resumed treating them. First month, you know, that kind of case is not where people will be treated and then they will already leave the hospital. In fact, like the young man that was like with his treatment was taking a lot of money from the company. So the company managed to reach 2 months, 3 months, and after 3 months, they wanted to retire, they were complaining and everything. That's why the family stood up, they wanted to work. So they were threatening them with lawsuits that, oh, you will be sued if you don't do this. So there are legal implications, that's what we are saying. And every company that recognizes this should be able to prioritize, you know, upholding the safety of the employee, that of the environment, and all those also were the people. What about the corporate image? Corporate image, you know, how will you feel that the company that you want to apply to, they tell you that, oh, 100 people always die there near you, 100 people. I trust the African community, they will attach immunity. They can say, oh, they are using them for ritual or anything whatsoever. So the corporate image that, you know, when your employees are just dying, they are just, you know, a lot of evil is just happening. People don't understand that it's just a simple thing, you know, on occupational safety and health that you could have actually want to implement. There's a lot of names it will give you. Okay, so there is corporate image, the social obligation. You also own it to people when you work, even to your employees, for them to be safe, for their safety to be guaranteed. Of course, their family are waiting for them. They are waiting to receive them back home, and everybody would want his loved or her loved one to return safe and sound. So it's a social responsibility. Just as you driving your car, you shouldn't drive your car with the intention that you want to knock down everybody. Even the person that is not obeying the road sign, maybe by crossing when it's supposed to cross. As a driver, you must be at alert that somebody that is maybe is deep in thought, they want to cross at your front. So your leg should not be far from your brake. You should be able to be at alert to use your brake at any time, or to drive in a way that will avert any bad incident while you're actually driving. Because it's a social responsibility you owe it to people. So as a company, there are some regulations that guide the level at which you can release some dangerous chemical into the air. When you look at some vehicles, especially those ones that use diesel as their fuel, you will see that their exhaust, most of them, their exhaust will be released off to such a height so that when the exhaust is coming out, it will be released at a level that it will not affect the clean air that people that are walking around can breathe in. Because it's actually a social responsibility for you to create a safe environment for people that are working in your company. It's a social responsibility that as you are producing, people that are living around that place should not be suffering. So HSE is very important. We have a lot of legislation, EIA decree of number 86 of 1992, the Factory Act Cap 126 laws of the Federation of Nigeria 1990, and a whole lot here. So let's look at some few terminologies that you can actually that you can encounter by the time we get in deeper in our second day of training. When we talk about hazards, what comes to your mind? Okay. When we talk about near miss, what comes to your mind? When we talk about accident, what comes to your mind? When we talk about incident, what comes to your mind? When we talk about monster point, what comes to your mind? When we talk about risk, what comes to your mind? These are, some of the terminologies that you may actually encounter. So let's take them one after the other. Now, what is the concept of accident? When there is an hazard and we now have an exposure, then we have what we call accidents or incidents. So generally, this word accident, the general word for it is incident. So when we have an hazard is anything that has potential to cause harm. Anything whatsoever with potential to cause harm is an hazard. Now, when people become exposed to this hazard, don't forget, I told you that almost everything around us is an hazard. Almost everything. They may just be dormant. Okay? Even human beings, people that you work with at your place of work, they could become an hazard to you. If somebody is mentally stressed, they can do and undo. Okay, he has become an hazard. Even he can hurt himself. A lot of people that use drugs, you see them hitting their head on the wall and everything. They are not feeling. He's already an hazard to himself. Okay, and if he can hurt himself like that, he could also hurt anybody. So when we are talking about hazard, the list is uncountable. But the incident only happens when you become exposed to it. The knife you use in the kitchen is hazardous because it can cut you. But it is only when you are now exposed to the cutting part of the knife in such a way that you could have protected yourself, but instead of protecting yourself, you got yourself exposed to it, then there is an impact on you. It becomes an incident. That's what in the layman language we call accident. But even when we're talking about accident is something that you could have prevented. Something that, the circumstances leading up to it. The circumstance leading up to it, or the substance responsible for it, is something that you have spotted, but because you refuse to correct it, then you have the impact. That is an accident. That's why you see that you hardly see anybody that will want to leave his house and say, they want to go and have accident. No. There is a banana peel on the floor. You have spotted it. If you could have picked it and dumped it properly, there wouldn't have been an accident resulting from that or an incident resulting from that. So it's something that you could have protected. There was an exposed cable in your room or in your office. If you had actually called the electrician in the company that would tape it very well, twist the wire properly, or use a joint connector for it,
You could have prevented what? Fire what? Incident. You could have prevented what? Shock. But when the unexpected result from this, then you will call it what? Accident. But you could have prevented it. So most of the accidents and the incidents that you see across the industry are things that what you have power to have what prevented, to have controlled, but because of negligence, they eventually happen. So the negligence will bring about what exposure, and then the unexpected happen. So let's look at what the two things here: the unsafe act and the unsafe work conditions. Now, there are conditions at your place of work that may be unsafe. What are these conditions? Okay, what do we call unsafe conditions? Inadequate or missing machine guards. When we talk about machine guards, most machines that have what rotated what parts. What we have in practice is for us to mount a guard around it. This guard is to isolate the person that is operating it in such a way that what, even if your hand comes close to that place, your hand will not be trapped in, and there won't be any cuts. So if there's an inadequate or missing machine guard, that's an unsafe condition. That condition is not safe for you to work. That's what we call it unsafe condition. Defective tools or equipment, an equipment that is defective, that is faulty, for you to work with it, and they say, oh, don't worry, just manage it for today. That's an unsafe condition. Anything can happen, anything can result from it. Or there is a particular machine that is for, and they are telling you that, but that's how they have been using it. You know, some people will even tell you, hey, we have been using it for 10 years and nothing has happened to anybody. That nothing has happened to anybody does not make it right. It's an unsafe condition. Fire hazards. Lose a connection of electrical cables. You know, too much of hacking from electrical work equipment or safety equipment. All these can result to what? Fire, you know, fire incidents. So fire hazards, they are part of unsafe condition. Ineffective housekeeping. In fact, we are going to see a lot of these in our second day of training. Ineffective housekeeping. Most of the incidents at workplace, most of the incidents, even at our place of abode where we stay, they are due to poor housekeeping. Poor housekeeping. You see, when you hear about tripping, fall at the place of work, most of these are due to what? Poor housekeeping. You're going to see a lot of it. I'm going to show you that grammatically, and all of us will spot it out for us to see that what? Yes, human beings, you know, we are a great contributors to what? You know, workplace what? Incidents. Excessive noise is an unsafe condition. Poor ventilation and lighting. Many people don't know this. Poor ventilation. There was a time I met a man that was telling me that, you know, you work in cold room. You can imagine somebody working in cold room, you know, and they're supposed to provide the PPE, like a chest protection PPE for them. So what the normally tell them that what, if you can work, if you want to go home. He said that what they work in a very chill, like what they actually do the protection is very chill. So most of them, you see them, they have cold. They have, you know, every disease that results from what cold. That's what they normally suffer from. You rarely see them with what clean nose. They always have runny nose due to the place that they work. That one is what a great exposure. And there are some people that they work in the hot zone of the company, where they hardly have fresh air. You know, most of those people that work in the bakery, you know, if they work in the clean unit of cement manufacturing and all that work, they are always heated up and all that. Poor ventilation, okay, is an unsafe condition. Poor lighting. When the light is not bright, when you are working, you couldn't even see when you are putting the hands or anything whatsoever. You're just using your instincts. It's an unsafe condition. What about unsafe acts? Working without authority is an unsafe act. When you are not authorized, you are not an authorized worker, because you are going to see some of the signage that is supposed to be seen in a company. They tell you that, oh, this place is not open for the unauthorized person. But you, based on the fact that you are unauthorized, that's where you want to put your head because you want to know what is happening in that one. But you don't know. People that are working that are authorized, they already know what is unsafe in that place. They know where to put their leg, they know where to put their hand. But you, that does not belong to that unit, you want to put your head. So working without authority is an unsafe act. Like the one that my friend experienced when they have not taken line clearance on that electric motor 660 volts that I talked about. Okay, they have not been permitted. They have not been given authority to maintain that particular electric motor. They just wanted to work. The media man just wanted to, cover up some of the mistakes. And then that's an unsafe act. Failure to warn others of danger. A lot of people don't do this. When you see something, you say something. And that's the slogan of safety at every workplace. When you see danger, you announce the danger. You don't say, oh, okay, I will be careful. So if anybody wants to die, let them go and die. After all, I've already discovered it. It is a poor safety culture. When you're in a place where people don't raise alarm about something that is dangerous, you have seen that a cable actually shock you. That means that part of it is already exposed. And now you are safe, but because it shocked you. But your intention is that it should actually shock many people. Other people should also receive the shock, that you should not be the only person. That is a very wrong concept, a wrong mind of safety. So failure to warn others of danger is an unsafe act. Using dangerous equipment is an unsafe act. Using wrong equipment, using dangerous equipment is quite different from using wrong equipment. There are people that use the wrong tools to do the right job. So they want to do a particular job and they are using the wrong tools. Like, for example, your plier is not for you to unscrew nuts. It's not for you to screw the nuts or to unscrew nuts. Many people use plier to do this. The plier becomes a universal tool for them. That's what using them, because over time, the thread on that bolt or on that nut will be wearing out because you are using plier. And then it will not be so tight the way it should be. The thread on it will be affected over the time. There are some machines that they're supposed to maintain that particular unit, but because they cannot unscrew the nut, they will not leave it there permanently. They cannot unscrew that place again. They will just leave it. They say, you can't unscrew it, so the nut is already damaged. Who damaged it? Is it an animal? It's a human being. And that's an unsafe act. Using the wrong tools, wrong equipment. Failure to issue control measures. When companies don't put control measures in place, like the one I was mentioning, line clearance is a control measure. So that you don't go and work on an equipment that you have not been authorized, electrical clearance on. There are some region of the company you should not go if you are not permitted. These are control measures. Wearing your PPE is part of control measures. Your safety boots, wearing it at the appropriate place is part of control measures. Using your hand glove, if you have an exposure or a risk to your hand being caught or having a cut on your hand is a control measure. Wearing eye goggles in case of electrical spark, electrical safety is a control measure. It is very important. Horseplay. I've been to, companies where you see employees behaving like kids, running after each other. And in their mind, they are having fun, they are playing, they are cutting crews. Horseplay. There was a very horrible story, okay, that I heard about a man. He was working in for many people here who work in a dusty environment. There's what we call compressed air. So they will put it at every unit. For me, I've worked in cement plant before. So the compressed air is always at every unit. Let's say you feel that you are now your body is dusty. So you can use the compressed air. It will do with hose. You just open it to any pressure you want to open it to use the air If you look at what the vulcanizer normally do, most of those vulcanizers just look at something like that. Okay, so those holes that they use to pump tire, so just that you're having it in every unit. So the air there is not to pump tire, but just to blow our body, just blow your envelope, okay, with the pressure that will not have what a negative effect on your skin. So the story was told of two young men. Both of them, they were colleagues. They were working together. So both of them were using the compressed air. We don't know the spirit that enter one of them, and he just face his colleague. You know, some people, their life is betting. A lot of people can use that to bet. What I'm trying to say and emphasize with this storyline is a life story. Okay, a real life story. You should not bet with your safety. Horseplay, rough play, gambling lifestyle is not encouraged. It shouldn't be encouraged when it comes to your safety and your health. So he faced his colleague and told him that, oh, I can put these holes in my mouth. Oh. We don't know what enter into. And you know, a typical African person, many of them will not tell you that, oh, no, don't do that. No, that is wrong. Why will you put compressed hair holes in your mouth? So the colleague did not persuade him not to do. So instead of him to persuade him, what he just told him, you cannot. I dare you. You cannot. Say, okay, bet now. And that one also say, okay, how much? How much? So he just place the bet on it. I said, I can put these holes in my mouth. And I was say, you cannot now. Okay, put your money. You know, this kind of gambling lifestyle. And that's how they bet. Unfortunately for him, he put the holes in his mouth. It was even his colleague that he was betting with that he told to go and open it. So that one, definitely, he doesn't want him to win his money. So usually, I think he's the one that even control the opening of the air. Maybe he could maintain the pressure in a way that will not affect him too much. So he just put the holes in his mouth, and the other colleague, in his mind, he will be able to actually shut the door of his throat so that the air will not pass through. That will just open the air to maximum, and that was the end of that young man. He died. He had air inrush into his system, and that was the end. He didn't survive it. Unsafe acts, horseplay, gambling, unsafety is not what to be encouraged at a place of work. So I have a quiz for us, very quick one. I have a quick quiz for us. So before I disclose what should be the answer, I want people who could actually think and give you the answer. How do you prevent unsafe acts? How do you prevent unsafe condition? Which is more difficult to prevent and why? So the one I want you to answer, don't answer how do you prevent acts, how do you prevent unsafe condition? The third question is what I want you to give a try. Which is more difficult to prevent? Is it unsafe condition or unsafe acts? Moderator, are you there? Moderator, are you there? Mr. Moderator, are you there?
Can you hear me, sir?
Okay, please, I need somebody to signify. Which one is more difficult, unsafe act or unsafe condition, and why? Okay, we have to raise their hands. Okay, Vincent D. I can see hand. Vincent D, now I need your right.
Yes, Vincent D, that's my name. Can I respond now?
Yes, please, go ahead. Over to you.
Okay. Unsafe acts and unsafe condition. I feel the one that is more difficult. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, very audible.
The one that is more difficult to control is the unsafe condition. And the reason why I chose the unsafe condition is because for the unsafe act is basically about you. You're entitled to your actions. You think it through before you do that. But when you are in an unsafe condition, more like your workplace, you're an employee, the condition you find yourself, you have little or no effect to change the circumstances around you. The best you could do is to manage the condition you find yourself, your workplace. But for the unsafe act, it has to do with your habit, your character. You can comfortably as a human being that has the ability to reason and coordinate, control the unsafe acts, your activities. But for the condition where you find yourself, it may be a bit challenging to handle because you're just the employee. You're
Coordinated. 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 Can you hear me? Matthew Adewale?
Yes, sir, I can hear you, sir.
Yes, you can unmute your mic. Please respond to the question, sir.
I think the unsafe art and unsafe condition, I will go for unsafe condition. And this is the reason because sometimes your employers tends to put you at tight corner. I once had an experience of that while I was handling a project with the AKK pipeline. And the condition the employer is putting the workers to go through is a very, very deadly one. And we all know when it comes to confined space, it's a very, very dangerous job that require high level of sensitivity, high level of safety culture. Now, for the unsafe heart, it has to do with personal individuals' characters, which there are many ways you can control one. You have different ways you can choose to send the person out. You can choose to correct, train, and reorient the person. Now, but in an unsafe condition, the best you could do is to find the barest minimum you could reduce it to. If in that case, if it's not possible to be eliminated, and which most times is very, very difficult due to depends on the kind of employer you have and the area you find yourself to carry out such activity at that time. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for your response. Let's listen to others.
Understand? Okay, thank you for giving it a try. Another person with a different view. Moderator, are you there? Hello, Emmanuel.
Yeah, hello, can I talk?
No, I can see your hand.
Hello, can I talk now?
I think Emmanuel, you can see your hand.
Hello,
I didn't come out here. Good afternoon. Yeah, I'm ready. Yes, I can understand. Yeah. Safe art is personal to you. While on condition is what you are into, not the one you cannot see visible you cannot see it coming. But the unsafe part you can see it coming. Because you are the one that asks for the action. While unsafe condition is your environment. You can be in one area and unknown to you, you don't know what is coming out from there, and it can come. But on something that you are the one for it, that's what really is. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. I didn't come out here. That will be all. So permit me. I didn't come to your response.
Hello, can you?
Yeah, to Chamon Abdul Samid.
thank you very much for the opportunity. So, for me, between unsafe art and unsafe condition, I think unsafe art is more difficult to manage or control because if the work operations or activities in the workplace are possessing a lot of risks to the workforce, it's up to the management, the HSC management, to restrict that particular area and only give access to minimum authorized people to maybe work on that particular either machines or anything that is processing the hazard. So in that case, you can control it by avoiding people from entering that area. But when it comes to the unsafe act, it is generally more difficult to control because they involve human behavior, which are less predictable. It requires continuous effort because if someone is about to engage in something, since you cannot read the person's mind or the person's emotions sometimes, it's difficult for you to predict it. And also, if the organization have HSE policies in place, the individual may choose to abide it or not. So in that case, it's more difficult to.
All right, thank you. I can't hear you again. So let's listen to Adeneko Michael.
Why I say that is more difficult to educate is that a quick condition, other actors are still what you call first to attack. Yeah. So until I means that you are so the way you ask to the other ensure that you are so I think that it's very difficult to eradicate. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your contribution. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead because okay, thank you so much. So you will see now, I would put everything that we have said together and then we will see the results. Okay, let's look at the results. Okay, let's talk about the prevention. Okay, and before I talk about the prevention, let me first address the question I asked you, and then I will zoom this place for you to see. Unsafe condition is easier to prevent. Unsafe acts is more difficult to prevent. And why? People that affected the question, they will try because you know yourself. You attack the question based on you. That, oh, it's an unsafe act. That is you. Unsafe act is not limited to you, but to you and other employees. If you can work on yourself, you cannot work on others. The actions, if people are really, they have negative action towards safety, even you, if you are giving it all your best, their action can jeopardize your life. Unsafe condition is general. It is a condition you can see. If you see the wet floor, you can go and take mop and clean it. If you see banana peel on the floor, you can pick it. These are unsafe conditions. You have power over it. If you see an exposed cable, okay, in a particular place, you can raise alarm and make sure that it is done before you start working in that unit. But when you have people that their safety is nothing to them, you have a colleague, you know, that it does not care what really happened, that can even endanger your own life, even if you prioritize safety. People are the most difficult factors to control, to put in place. And that's why unsafe acts is very, very difficult, much more difficult to control the unsafe condition. Let's look at the prevention of unsafe condition, safety audit. You can put safety audit in place when the audit is being carried out so that we know, are we really following, are we complying with the safety standards? Are we actually having training for people? Are we sensitizing them? Okay, safety inspections, we can check places, you know, on-site inspections to know if there's any unit that or something that is not being that is not put right in a particular unit. Maintenance schedules for equipment. We can have a maintenance schedule like the one I've used in the illustration so much. That some company will this equipment every 10 days we have to maintain it. These are what ways to prevent unsafe conditions. Encouraging employee reporting. You can encourage them. Okay, anybody that see something and report it, oh, this is the benefit and everything. So when you keep on encouraging them like that, is you can prevent an unsafe condition. Oh, water has already poured on the floor in that place, so somebody is raising that alarm. That is a good way to prevent an unsafe condition. Good housekeeping. Good housekeeping can actually work, help us to actually work control a lot of unsafe conditions. But how do we prevent unsafe acts? How do we prevent it? So you can see, changing behavior is not easy. Changing behavior, for people to change their behavior is not easy. And the best way you can do this is by what? Developing a safety culture. when you see companies that have a very good safety culture, in fact, I can attest to next two company. When I go to next two company, I've been to next two company at Agbara. I've been to the one at Shagamu also. In fact, you will attest to it if you have been there before. That was the company that I entered, and I see them obeying what? Zebra crossing. I was forced to being a safety trainer for all these years. You know, in most of our roads, how many drivers normally obey was zebra crossing? If you go and stand at the zebra crossing and think that you'll not be knocked down, you're just joking with your life. But when I entered the company, I was told that I should not cross until the security begin was pointing finger at me to keep going. And as I was spotting, I just spot the zebra crossing ahead. I said, wow, maybe this man is trying to make me to obey the zebra crossing because I should not cross until I get there. And when I got there, he told me, he signaled to me that I could cross. That's the company I see that, you know, most companies will write it, this is the minimum speed. Then you still see speed, people driving and speeding anyhow within the factory. Okay, so we need to develop what? A safety culture. And that's what could actually help us to control the unsafe acts. If there's safety culture, if everybody makes safety to become their culture, then it's going to actually help. There is no incident without exposure to what? Hazards. Okay, there's no incident without exposure. Okay, that's why you see that one. Look at hazard here, you can see barrier. There's always a barrier. Okay, but when this barrier is being breached, when there's an exposure, it could become a near miss. What is near miss? Near miss that what? The incident almost what? Result in injury. But it did not result in injury. There was no impact. That's a near miss. Like you will say somebody, you escaped narrowly. A narrow escape. That is near miss. For example, you almost step on the banana peel. There's a natural impulse that when you want to stumble on something, you can struggle with your body, and then you will see that what just maintain your stability. That is a near miss. But if a near miss is not being corrected, if that particular thing that resulted in near miss is not being removed, then it could become what? An accident or incident. So, and in every 600 near miss events that you see, okay, there could be some incident that it will be 200 of them would be under control with first aid, okay. The real medical treatment, it could be 30 of them. We can rate the lost time by 10, and then the fatality, like somebody losing his life, could be rated 1. So you can see, so in every statistics, okay, when you have 600 of near misses, expect that you must have recorded 300 cases of first aid, 30 of medical treatment, 10 of lost time, and 1 fatality. And in our next class, we will begin with this. With this challenge, we'll start the class with stating and discussing the difference between hazard and risk, incident and accident, and then we get into practical applications of having to identify hazards. The ability for you to get into a workplace, and spot hazards and things that are actually wrong, and being able to actually say, oh, this is wrong, okay, this has to be corrected, this is an unsafe condition. You see what people are doing, this is an unsafe act. It can actually lead to an incident. So that ability also is very, very good, and it will guarantee you working with prioritizing your safety, your health, and also the safety of the environment and fellow workers. So I want to appreciate everyone who has stayed with us in our day 1. So in our day 2, we get to deeper, aspects of this training. Thank you. I hand you over to the moderator. Over to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. James. I want to sincerely appreciate our resource person for that wonderful class. All right. So let's go straight to questions. Questions, yes. Like we did mention, we are going to be given the opportunity to ask questions. So this class is scheduled to end by 12. Let's see if we can take questions for the next within the next 5 minutes. Right, so please, if you have your question, just signify by raising your hand. So I'll call on you. Or if you're in a place where you can't speak, just drop it in the comment section. Yes, so please, is either you drop your question in the comment section or you signify by raising your hand. So I will call on you to ask your question. So those joining us via the YouTube platform, please do well to drop your questions in the comment section as well. So we'll pick it up from there. So please, for us to be able to manage time, let's go straight to the question. Just ask your question then, so that we'll give another person the opportunity to ask. All right, let me start with Adolphus. Adolphus Tokwa. Can you unmute your mic, sir? Adolphus, if you can hear me, please unmute your mic and ask your question. All right, okay, so the resource person is saying that response to the question will be dropped on the WhatsApp platform. Okay, so we'll just take the questions. So we'll go to the WhatsApp platform for the response. Yes, that's because of our time. We still have one other training to attend to today. So please, if I call on you, just ask the question or drop it in the comment section, please. J. Sima Davis. Sima Davis.
Hello, are you getting me?
Yes, is that Sima Davis?
Yes.
Okay, please go ahead.
So I'm joining in from Liberia, and my question is the certificate that you talk about that will be issued, is it for pay or free?
All right, thank you very much for your question. I think I
Yeah,
attended.
then another one again. Yeah, I'm coming, please. I'm concerned about the NIBOSH certification, the international H&E certification, NIBOSH. I think you know it. Will this certificate or course that we just did qualify you to get NIBOSH satisfied?
All right, thank you very much for your question. We'll respond to everything. Favor Enyaguru. Enyaguru. Please unmute your mic and ask your question.
Hey, good afternoon, sir.
Yes, good afternoon. Please go ahead.
Okay, so my question is, since we are talking about unsafe acts, what of in a situation whereby you're driving and your brake fails, how will you prevent that? How will you prevent injury at that point?
All right, thank you very much. Quite an interesting question. Okay, so Adolphus Tokwa. Adolphus, if you can hear me, unmute your mic and ask your question, please. Okay, Echo. Echo, can you unmute your mic?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes, please go ahead.
My name is Samuel from Ghana. I'm asking the training company, the COC company, is it registered under any accredited body that gives training and certification? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Yes, so like I mentioned, every of your questions will attend to them on the WhatsApp platform. We'll do a voice recording, then we'll drop it on that platform. Yes, this is because of our time. We don't want to exceed the time that has been allotted for this class. All right, so those joining us, okay, someone is saying, okay, thank you for the lovely presentation. Yes, thank you so much. We appreciate you a whole lot. Yes, so like we did mention, yes, the training is going to hold for 2 days. Today being the day one, we are going to be picking up from where we stopped in tomorrow's class. So please, I want to assume that everybody who is on this live class, both YouTube and Google Meet, are on the WhatsApp platform. So you don't miss out on any of the questions. So this class is going to be recorded, and the recorded class will be dropped on the platform so that you'll be able to follow up on whichever aspect of the class you missed. So please, before tomorrow's class, if there's anyone who didn't meet up with this class in time, please go back and rewatch the recorded video. So to have access to that, you will want to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So once we drop the video link, please use the link to get to our channel, then hit the subscribe button. We have loads of training that are on that channel that you can benefit from. All right. So I want to appreciate everyone for being with us. Let me just pick one person to give us their feedback of the class so far. Yes, I've been having feedback. So please do us the honors. Take your feedback to the WhatsApp platform. Drop it there so that every other person that missed today's class will be encouraged to join in for tomorrow's class. So let me call on someone. I think I've not heard Giwa Akim. Giwa Akim, I can see you. So please, can you unmute your mic and give us your feedback of the class? Giwa Henry Johnson. Henry Johnson, yes, I can see you. Yes, we'd love to get your feedback of the class.
Thank you. I'm Henry Johnson and I'm from Liberia. So I want to thank the organizing committee, which is the COC concept training for this class. I have learned a lot today. I was also learn about the difficulty in preventing unsafe act and unsafe condition. Which one is more easier to prevent? And I was also able to get some adequate training on some of the basic concepts that have to do with accident and incident, the exposures that result into unsafe and unsafe condition. So I look forward for tomorrow training. That would be a very innovative and skill building for my career. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Henry Johnson. So on that note, we'll be bringing the class to a close. So till we meet again in tomorrow's class, do have a productive evening. Bye, everyone. You can unmute your mic and tell me bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
So
Bye-bye. Looking forward for tomorrow class.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, sir. God bless you.
They have approved it actually. Yes, they have approved it. So, likely.